All right, what I'm trying to yap about this morning. Um, I'm conducting a dual study of the work of Sun Ra and the work of Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. So here's my current thought right now for this morning. So I think that uh, I think it's um, I think what we're trying to do with Afrofuturism, at least in the way it's going to show up at Naropa, is we are trying to help people of African descent, okay, first of all, connect to intuition. And every culture, first of all, every individual person, every personality temperament, every different area of life work, and every culture or cultural group or ethnic group has a different set of symbols to connect to intuition, right? Well, each person is trying to, in each group, is trying to construct a system of symbols that helps that person and that group, or a person from that group, connect to intuition. So that, I believe, is the purpose of religious and spiritual traditions historically. That's one of the main purposes, is to create, I'm just going to call it the vertical bridge between the self and the intuition or the soul and spirit levels. And once that bridge of symbols is stabilized, at a certain point, you can actually abandon the bridge, and you're there, you're in it. And then, there's different levels. There's points at which the personality fuses into the intuitive space and almost evaporates. And then you're just dealing with the human being as a vehicle for intuition with no obstructions. But most of us aren't there. I'm not there. I am still working with simple bridges and connecting to intuition. And I have moments where I feel connected to intuition, and I have moments where I don't feel connected to intuition. Now, I symbolize it as up. Some people could symbolize it as down, or whatever. I see it as a vertical exchange that is happening. There are things that are coming down, and there are things that are being sent up. So then this is the other piece as far as Afrofuturism goes, because the difference between Afrofuturism, I think, and other types of spiritual systems and teachings, or even artistic systems and teachings. And this is one thing. It's like nowadays, a lot of the traditional religious paths are just not as tenable as they used to be in light of the scientific revolution that came out of Western Europe. We just can't we can't relate to them. Most people don't. More and more people don't relate to them in the same way. So one of the things that has become a substitute for spiritual traditions is art. It's the working with imagination through images, through sound, through music, through dance, through movement, through sculpture, through fashion, through architecture, through the molding of space, through earthworks. Okay, we have started to work with intuition in a new way. It's the old way, really, but it's in a new context. So with Afrofuturism, the question is how do African descended human beings make a stable bridge between their lives now and their intuitive and spiritual existence, which is somewhat outside of what we call time? And then once they make that connection, how do they then bring down intuitive energy into a life and then into a historical and evolutionary planetary environment where the whole of humanity is basically trying to learn how to act as one system? And this is Teilhard de Chardin's noosphere, however you want to say it, noosphere, noosphere. Okay. it's knowledge, the knowledge sphere. It's the total cybernetic system. I mean, this is what I'm feeding into right now. I'm talking on to this computer. I'm recording it, and I'm going to upload it to a platform that other people can access across the world. You know, so how do we as African descended human beings or Black people respond to this technological cybernetic environment where we are sending each other electrical impulses across a great distance, and we're all responding and changing our behavior according to these electrical impulses? How are we going to relate to that? How are we going to construct our system, our traditional and our innovative symbol systems in relation to that, so that we can relate to this? And every tradition creates its symbol systems and brings its intuition to bear on the particular types of problems and sufferings and potentials that it has in its environment and in its history. You know, what's its trauma book? What's its dream book? And every society creates symbol systems to address its trauma book and to try to manifest its dream book. So what does that look like for Black people at this time in the world? Okay, and I don't view Afrofuturism as Black superiority or Black separatism totally. I view it as Black distinctness, but not at this time in history. I don't think any people on the earth can actually live separate from everybody else. I think we all have to live in a conscious relationship and a conscious responsiveness to peoples from all over the world. And not just peoples from all over the world, but actually the natural world itself. And not only the natural world, but also the human artificially created technosphere. We all got to relate to that now. Even to reject it is a relationship. You can't be unconscious of it. So that's part of what Afrofuturism's mission, I think, is to be like, how do African descended human beings relate to this? How do we relate to this? How are we going to respond to it? What particular lessons have we learned from our history that can make this more intelligent and benefit the collective of humanity by using these instruments, and benefit us by using these instruments? So that's part of the project that we want to embark on. I see it the way I see it at Naropa. Um, and it's not just at Naropa. That just happens to be our location and our platform, if you want to say. Light and darkness. Redefining light and darkness.